Well, here I am starting out on Laura's honeydew list. One of the first things is we're going to plan on making a fire feature out of an old wine barrel. One of the features of one of the things we wanted to make sure and do is we wanted to maintain the structure and the look of the original barrel as much as possible. Therefore, that kind of eliminated the idea of cutting a hole in the side of it and making a door. My thoughts on this were I was going to go ahead and cut the bottom of the barrel out so that we could lift the barrel over top of the propane tank that's going to be used to provide the fire. Right off the bat, the problem with the barrel is that it's held together structurally by tension, the wood and the steel bands tension against the bottom and the top plates here. So if I cut this out without having something to hold the stays together, they will all fall in on themselves, and then the structure of the barrel will fall apart. So my solution to that was I decided I was going to get some 3/4 plywood, and I was going to cut a ring, a 2-inch ring, to fit around the inside top of this that I was going to glue and screw to the top wood before cutting the bottom out. Here's that ring I got right here. This is going to fit right down inside here, and then of course again I will screw it down, then cut the bottom out of it. How I made this ring was I picked up a 2-foot by 2-foot piece of 3/4 plywood at Home Depot, as well as a compass used to make circles. This is a construction compass. I measured across. How to make the size of this, I measured across here, the edge of the barrel. It came out to just about 20 inches, and I measured it in a couple different places to try to get the average of what it was going to be. It doesn't have to be precise. And then with a 2-inch on either end, that drops it down to 16 inches. So what I did was I got the plywood, measured this to 10 inches, which was halfway in between, and then found the center, and then did a circle, and then I drew that. Then I cut it down. I wanted 16 inches, so I set this at 8. Used the same center mark, and then did the 16-inch. That made that one there. Then I drilled a hole in the center, right next to the line here. Used a jigsaw and cut the inside circle out. After which, I came from the outside with the jigsaw and cut the outer circle out, and that's how I ended up with this. I spray painted it black so that it had a little bit of weather protection. And so, the idea is, once I pound this down in here and glue and screw it, these boards, these staves, won't be able to collapse in. It'll hold them on the outside. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue this ring down on top of here, and then screw it into each individual stave so that it'll hold its shape. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just setting it in place right now, and then I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw a circle on the inside here. And what that does is that lets me know where to put the glue on top of the barrel. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and take this thing here and set it in place, and then drive it down in there. So it's all the way down. On top of that. Now what I'll do is I'll take my screw shooter and I will go ahead and screw screws down into here on each stave to make sure this is all sucked up and in tight. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and screw those screws down in there. Not too deep, just enough to suck it up into the plywood. You don't want to overdo it. I'm following the lines here where the boards are. You can see where the actual boards are. You got to make sure you get one into each board. Alright, now that I've got the ring all the way screwed down on here, pretty tight, you try to suck it up so that you get a little bit of glue squeeze out and then wipe that glue off. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the inside ring out of the original barrel. So first order I have to do is I have to drill a hole, good big enough size to get the jigsaw blade down through there. So I'm going to do that right here. Alright, there we go. Let me get the jigsaw. Standard jigsaw. And we're going to get right down in here and then cut right along the inside edge of this ring to cut out the leftover boards. I'm having to keep the jigsaw a little bit of an angle because the radius of the turn is too tight for it to be on the inside, so I'm keeping it up on top of the ring here and then cutting it a little bit of an angle, but it's working. Alright, well, I got that out of there, so that's the ring that come out. Looked like wine. So now we're gonna flip it over and then start working on the top. Alright, now we've gotten the bottom done, so we're flipped over to the top, and now we're going to actually start working on putting the fire burner itself for the fire feature on it. This is what we got here. Is a round fire feature, 12-inch, and it's going to end up sitting here on top of this barrel. However, we want to have a little bit of the wood's got to have some protection against fire in there so it doesn't burn up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put thin 3/8 to 1/2 inch thick concrete in here to protect the wood from any fire that happens. First thing I need to do is drill a hole down through the center here, and it's 1-inch hole for the pipe coming up through the hooks to the burner. Alright, let me use that drill. I'm going to use a 1-inch bit here and go straight down. Okay, the next step here is you need a little mesh so when you put concrete down there, if it ever gets cracked, it won't just fall out. So this is a little bit of builder's mesh that I got at Home Depot. Didn't cost too much. And I used the same measurement again to make my circle around the outside, and then I found my spot for the hole in the middle. So we're just going to set this in here, right down inside there. Now, I'm going to pour it to keep from the hole from filling in. When I put the concrete in there, I came up with this I got a piece of PVC pipe. It's a 1-inch PVC pipe, which I'm going to have it sit right in the center of that hole right there while I pour the concrete. And then I'll be able to pull that out, and then we'll have a nice neat hole going down through. Alright, well, I've got some concrete mixed up here. So now what we're going to try to do is, it's kind of like it's not real wet, but I'm going to try to get a 3/8 inch to 1/2 inch thickness on that. I'm going to use a spatula to run it out. A little more. Okay, so we finally got the concretes all set and everything. So I believe that we're ready to start putting the mechanical stuff together. Here's the hardware that we picked up from Winebarrel. This is the keyway for the valve that's going to operate from the outside of the barrel. The other valve is going to be on the tank, which is going to be inside, so this is the one that will be used more often. So the next step is to drill a hole big enough for this in the side of the barrel, which I'm going to do right about here. Alright. Alright, well, hopefully this will work. So, now comes the fun part. Yeah, it's going to fit on there like so, like that. And then it's going to pop through there a little bit, and then I got to run that on there. Hopefully it will tighten up. Find out. So I have to get inside the barrel. That so it needs to be. There we go. That's better. I wish I had a. I'm gonna tighten that up. I don't have it set up for that. Let me see if I got something. I'll tighten that up. The next step, after we've done that, is this is the end that goes in the burner. Got to run that through the hole in the top, and then spin the burner on top of it. We're gonna put some Teflon tape on this right now, so that'll keep that from leaking. Okay. Now we're ready to stick it through. Okay. Now we're burner on here. We'll cross-thread it. We're okay. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to have to get in there, and my good wife is going to have to hold something to get that tight. Okay, you got to hold the wrench. Just hold it where it's at. It should work. Alright, that's good. Here we are. We got the barrel. We got a propane bottle, and my son and I are going to lift this and put it over top. Ready? Now, some considerations to have when operating with propane is that propane is heavier than air. So if any leaks happen, it's going to drop lower level, okay? On this deck, it's not a problem because there's slots in the deck and anything will slide out. But if you have it on a flat surface, you could get a buildup of propane in there if you don't have some sort of notches or something built into the bottom of here so that you can release gas. So just bear that in mind. Alright, so we've got it all sitting on here, and we're going to try to test it and make sure the gas is working. Try her again. There. We have a fire feature. I guess we gotta ask the wife, because it's her honeydew list. Does this work for you?
Yes, it's very nice. Are you gonna stain it?
No, I'm gonna let it sit just like that. This is natural barrel right here.
What's that big old stain on it?
That's actual wine. So we're gonna stick with the actual wine. Not too shabby. Well, until next time.